In this lecture video, we are going to discuss about Python functions, function calls, built-in functions, type conversion functions, and random numbers. As we know that the functions are the building blocks of any programming language. You take C, C++, Java, you take any programming language. Functions are the building blocks of any programming language. A sequence of instructions intended to perform a specific independent task is known as functions. So in Python, there are two kinds of functions the first one is the built-in functions that are provided as a part of Python. So for example, input, type, float, integer are the built-in functions in Python. The second one is the functions that we define ourselves and then we use. So we treat the built-in function names as a new reserved word, that is, we avoid them as a variable name. So Python functions we mainly classify into two types. The first one is user defined function and second is built-in functions. So lambda functions and recurrence recurrence functions are the further classifications of the functions. Now we will see how to call the functions or how to name the functions. So as we know that a function is a named sequence of instruction for performing a particular task. When we define a function, we will give a valid name to it and then specify the instruction for performing the required task. So later, whenever we want to do the task, a function is called by its name. For example, so here type of 15. So 15, the function is integer. The class of the function is integer. So here the type is a function name. Function name. 15 is the argument. So here 15 is the argument and type is the function name. To a function and class int is the result of the function. So here integer is the result of the function. So usually a function takes a 0 or more arguments and returns the result. So here in this particular example, result is int. We know that Python functions mainly be classified into two types. The first one is user defined function and second one is built-in functions. Now we will see the built-in functions. Python is provide a rich set of built-in functions for doing a various tasks. The programmer or user need to know the integral works of these functions. Instead, they need to know only the purpose of such functions. So let's consider some built-in functions. So for example, max parenthesis is one of the built-in function. This function is used to find the maximum value among the arguments. It can be used for numeric values or even to string. So for example, so function parenthesis is the built-in function. Built-in function, the arguments are 10, 20, 14 and 12. So we have four integer value. The first integer value is 10, 20, 14 and 12. The result is 20 because the max parenthesis is one of the built-in function. It finds the maximum value among the arguments. So we have four arguments. Among these four arguments, maximum number is 20. The interpreter will gives the maximum value and maximum value is 20. So let's consider one more example. Max of allow word. So here we declare one string. So Python interpreter will give the WO value. So WO is the character having the maximum ASCII code among these words. So here, for example, you take this is a variable name big is equal to max of allow word. So argument is, so this is the argument, allow word is the argument and big is the assignment. So allow word we assign to big, so big is the variable name. So Python and max is the result word or function. So result is W. So W is the character having maximum ASCII code among the words. So here words are H, E, L, L, O, W, O, R, L, D. So here maximum ASCII code letter is W. So let's consider one more example. Max of 3.5 minus 2.1, 4.8, 15.3, comma 0.2. So Python interpreter will give the 15.3. So maximum of 5 floating point value is 15.3. So here the built-in function is max parenthesis. So here the arguments are 3.5, minus 2.5, 4.8, 15.3 and 0.2. Here maximum value is 15.3. So interpreter will give the 15.3. Let's consider one more building blocks. The built-in function is minimum parenthesis. As the name suggests, it is used to find the minimum of argument. So for example, you take minimum of 10, 20, 14 and 12. So these are the argument and minimum is the built-in function. So here, so among these 4 arguments, the minimum value is 10. The interpreter will give the 10 value. So let's consider one more example. So here minimum allow space word. So here string. So among these word, the minimum ASCII code word is space. So here, so Python interpreter will give the space as least ASCII code here. So let's consider one more example. Minimum of 3.5, minus 2.1, 4.8, 15.3 and 0.2. So here minimum of 5 floating point values is minus 2.1. So among these the minimum value is minus 2.1. So let's consider one more built-in function, length parenthesis. So this function, it takes a single argument and find its length. The argument can be a string, list, tuple, etc. So for example, you take length of hello, how are you? So here Python interpreter will give the 18. So the main function of this length is it counts the number of words. So here this is the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth. The Python interpreter is going to count the spaces. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. So it will give the 18. So there are many other building blocks in Python's building functions available in Python. So we will discuss later.
Let's try this in interpreter. The first function is max. The arguments are 10. For example, you take 10, 20, 30, 35. So here, so we have 4 integer value, 10, 20, 30 and 55, and building function is maximum. So Python interpreter will print the maximum value. So it gives the maximum value. The maximum value is 35. So let's consider one more example, maximum of hello world. So this is a string. Within a quote we have to write hello world. So Python interpreter will gives the W. So W have the maximum ASCII values. So let's consider one more example, maximum of 10, 20, 30, 35, 35.5, 40.7, 10.5. So here we have integer value and float values 10, 20, 30, 35.5, 40.7, 10.5. The Python interpreter will give the maximum value. So among this value, the maximum value is 40.7. So interpreter will give the maximum value, the value is 40.7. So let's consider one more example. So let's consider minimum built-in function. So here the arguments are 10, 20, 30 and 35. The interpreter will give the minimum value. The minimum value is 10. So let's consider one more example, minimum hello world. So here we'll give the minimum ASCII word. The minimum ASCII word among this word is space. Here space have minimum ASCII words. So let's consider minimum of 10, 20. Let's consider same values. So here, so Python interpreter will give the minimum value. So here minimum value, among this minimum value is 10. The interpreter will give the minimum value. So let's consider one more built-in function. The function is length of the arguments is hello how are you. So here, so length is one of the built-in function. It's count the length. The result is interpreter result is 17. So here the first one is H, second is E, this is third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17. So total length is 17. So interpreter is consider the space is equal to one length values. So total length of this string is 17. So here number of words are 15 plus 2 plus 14 plus 1, 2 and 3 spaces. The total length count is 17.
After knowing some built-in functions in Python, now we will see type conversions in functions. As we have seen earlier, while discussing input functions, the type of the variable or value can be converted by using the function int parenthesis, float parenthesis and string parenthesis. The Python is provide the built-in functions that converted the values from one type to another type. Let's consider few example. So for example, you take int 20. So quotes is single quote, the integer enclosed with a single quote. So Python interpreter will give the 20, and 20 is converted to integer type. Let's consider one more example. Int 20 double quote integer enclosed with the double quotes, and result is 20. The result is the class of the result is integer. So here 20 and 20 be enclosed with the single quotes and double quote. So it treated as string, it converted into integer. So this is a type, int is a type converter. So converts the arguments into integer format. So let's consider one more example. Here int of allow world. So allow is enclosed with the double quotes. So it treated as a string, and allow is the string. Actual string, this is the string, is cannot be converted to integer. The Python interpreter will give the traceback error. So here the int 3.8. So we know that int is the type converter. The arguments are 3.8. 3.8 is the float value. So here the float value is being converted into integer. So here 3 is the integer and 8 is the fraction value. The interpreter will give the 3 value. The float value is being converted into integer. Round off will not happen. Fraction is ignored. So here zero point 0.8 is the fraction value. The interpreter will ignore the zero point 0.8 value and it prints the 3. So let's consider one more example. Int minus 5.8. 5.8. So here the interpreter will give the minus 5. So minus 5 is the integer and 0.6 is the fraction. The interpreter will ignore the 0.6. So let's consider one more example. Float 3.5. Float 3.5. So here float enclosed with the single quotes. So it displays the 3.5. So 3.5 is converted to float type, and float 42. Float 42. So 42 is the integer value. So here type conversion is float. It converts the arguments into float type. So here the float point is 42.0. So here assigned argument is 42 and conversion is float conversion is convert the 42 into 42.0. So it converts the integer into float values. So let's consider one more example. String 4.5. The float 4.5 is the float value. It's converted into string. So here 4.5 is enclosed with the single quote. Again string 21. So 21 is the integer. Here type conversion is the string. It converts the integer into string. So here 21 is enclosed with the single quote. So single quote. So any value or any character or any sentence enclosed with the single quote or double quote, so interpreter is considered as a string. So here 4.5 is enclosed with the single quote and 21 is enclosed with the single quote, and type of this is string. Now we will see importance of random numbers and how to generate the random numbers in Python. So most of the programs that we write are deterministic. That is, the input or a range of inputs to the programs is predefined, and the output of the programs is one of the expected values. But for some of the real-time applications in science and technology, we need randomly generated output. This will help in simulating the certain scenarios. Random numbers generation has important applications in games, noise detection in electronic communications, statistical sampling theory, cryptography, politics, and business predictions, etc. So these applications are required the program to be non-deterministic. So there are several algorithms to generate the random numbers, but as making a program completely non-deterministic is difficult and many leads to several other consequences. We generate the pseudo-random numbers. That is, the type integer or float etc. and range between 0 and 1 and between 1 to 100 etc. For the random numbers are decided by the programmer but the actual numbers are unknown. Moreover, the algorithm to generate the random numbers is also known to a programmer. Thus, the random numbers are generated using a deterministic computational and hence they are known as pseudo-random numbers. Python as a module random for the generating the random numbers. The module name is random, random. One has to import this module in the programs. The function is used as random parenthesis. The module name is random. The function built-in function name is random parenthesis. By default, this function is generates the random numbers between 0.0 to 1.0 excluding 1.0. It's generate the values from 0.0 to 0.99. For example, if you want to generate the random number, first we have to import the module. The module name is random. So module random is imported, and if you want to import, first we have to write the import space random. So random is the module name. So then we have to print the random and random function. The random function is random parenthesis. So using this dot we can access the random module. So print random dot random parenthesis. So here random function is invoked here. So it will generate the random numbers between 0.0 to 1 excluding 1.0. So let again you print one more value, print random dot random parenthesis. It will print the random numbers. The random generated number is 0.5287. So this is one more random number. So here in this example, in first we import a module is create an object. So module is random. So using this object, one can access the various function and our variable is defined in the module. The functions are invoked by using a dot operator. So here, so this is the function name, random parenthesis, the random function. So this function is invoked by using a dot operator. So this is the operator, dot operator. So there are several other functions in the module random apart from the function random. So do not get too confused with the module name and function name. So observe the parenthesis while referring a function name. So random parenthesis is the function name and random is the module name. Randint randint function is one of the random number generated function. Random generated function. It takes two arguments low and high and returns a random integer between these two arguments. Both low and high are inclusive. For example, take random dot randint of 2 comma 20. So 2 comma 20 is the integer between 2 and 20 are generated. So generated number is 14. The 14 is between 2 to 20. So again, random dot rand int 2 comma 20. So 10 is the one more random number. So here random is the module name, rand int of 2 comma 20 is the rand int parenthesis is the function, and 2 comma 20 are the arguments. Choice function is one of the random number generator. This function take a sequence, a list type in Python, of numbers as an argument and returns one of these numbers as a random number. For example, so here t is equal to, arguments are 1, 2, -3, 45, 12, 7, 31 and 32. So this is the list. The list members are 1, 2, -3, 45, 12, 7, 31 and 22. So we created one list. So here we call the random dot choice of t. So t is the argument to choice. So here Python interpreter will generate the random number. The number is 12. So 12 is one of the elements in t. So let's generate one more number. So random dot choice t. So here Python interpreter will gives the 1. So 1 is one of the elements in t. So here, so this is the 1 and this is the 12. So in Python, the various other functions are available in random module can be used to generate the random numbers following several probabilities distributions like Gaussian, triangular, uniform, exponential, normal, etc.
Let's try this in interpreter. So if you want to generate any random number, first we have to import the module. So we are going to import. So module name is random, RANDOM. So we are going to print the random number. Print module name random dot function. So if you want to invoke the function, so using dot we can invoke the function. The function name is random parenthesis. So in default it generates the values from 0 to 0.99. So here it generates the random number. The number is between 0 to 0.99. So again you print, it generates one more. So this is a space, so indentation is not proper, that's what we are receiving syntax error. So again you print. So interpreter will generate the one more random number. So again you print, the interpreter will generate the one more random number. The random number is between 0.00 to 0.99. If you declare the rand int, we have to declare the range function. So here random, module name is random. So we invoke the one more function. The function name is rand int. So if you declare rand int, we have to specify the range. The range, for example, you take 2 comma 20. So Python interpreter is going to print the random numbers between 2 to 20. So here, so Python interpreter gives the 7. So 7 is between 2 to 20. So again you print this. So Python interpreter will give the one more number. This number is between 2 to 20. Similarly for choice function. These are some references. Thank you.